Hello, this is Beverly from scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Today I wanted to show you a variety of background techniques that can be used for all different kinds of paper crafting, card making, scrapbooking, off-the-page projects, mixed media, any kind of project that you want to do. You could also make a little technique booklet. I'm making these out of shipping tags that are from Avery. I got them at the office supply store. If you want to have it to be archival safe and acid free, you'd want to use a cardstock that's labeled as such. But there's hundreds of different techniques, and I'm showing you about 20 or so. This first one is a direct to paper with chalk ink from Quick Quotes. It's, I think, called Lemonade, and you just smash the ink into the cardstock or the shipping tag. And I usually do both sides if the tag is for a project where someone can see both sides, or if they pull it out of a booklet or whatever. And I'm not doing a tutorial today. I'm just sort of explaining what the what the technique is. And then I do have additional projects on my blog, and I'm continuing to put up new ones that reference these tags. So over the next few weeks I should have them all done. Here's another one that's direct to paper. This is Pear Ink from Close to My Heart, which is a dye-based ink. And this is the back side. The front side I did it a little bit lighter because then I used the Crafter's Workshop Fern stencils, the 6-inch side, and used a darker Ponderosa Pine ink and sponged it on for the edge. And then I ran it through my printer. It's an inkjet printer, and did the printing, and then I stuck the stickers on here. If you do want to print on your tags, you want to make sure you do your inking first if you have an inkjet printer, because the ink will smear from the printer. This is another direct-to-paper technique. This is also Close to My Heart ink. I wanted to see if it would work with spritzing water on it. The Tim Holtz Distress inks are marketed as really good for that kind of a technique, and I thought it would be interesting to see if some of the other dye-based inks work, and it does. It's just fine. And then I smashed some of the ink onto my craft mat and added water. This is called Garnet. This color is a very dark, obviously, color, but then when I added water to it and then I ran the tag through the puddle on the craft mat, it turned out this color. So that's kind of another fun way to use your inks and get different looks with it. And it only took, just a few minutes to dry it. You can also use your heat gun to dry if you do the spritzing method. This next one is pigment ink that I did the direct to paper, and then I layered clear embossing powder over it and embossed it, and then when it was done I took a green ink and kind of rubbed it into some of the areas to make kind of an underwatery looking type thing. There's a number of other kinds of ink to paper type techniques. Background stamping with one color, random stamping with one color, one stamp, but there's also one stamp and several colors, and a few different stamps and a few different colors. Those are all random stamping techniques. This is the Mr. Huey's Pumpkin from Studio Calico, sprayed at about, it's a mistard, it's sprayed at about 12 inches away, and then if you want more intense bursts of color, you just move your mister bottle a little bit closer. So this is about 6 inches away from the tag. I discovered this one because my Glimmer Mist bottle for the Tutti Frutti color for some reason has never worked, and I didn't want to throw it away. So rather than transferring it to another bottle, I decided to use it with a paintbrush. So I just poured a little bit into a container and painted it on. And so with most of the Tattered Angels, you can see there's kind of a shimmery finish to it. And so it gives it a more even coverage, obviously, than when you're misting. But then I also took my paintbrush and I just hit it on my finger like this to make the splatters. And when the ink is, or the paint is more concentrated, it does have a little bit more intensity to the color. So that's kind of a fun technique. This is Twinkling H2Os, and they come in little containers where you add just a little bit of water each time you want to use it, and then you paint it on. This is a couple more coats, and so you get a darker or lighter shade depending on how much you paint. And then on the back I just put patterned paper. This is another stencil from the Crafters Workshop. This one's called Swiss Dots, and I colored each of the dots in with a different color of watercolor pencil. I didn't use any water. I certainly can take a water wash to it, but I like the way that that looks. This is probably, out of all of the techniques here, this was probably the most time consuming, though it still didn't take all that much time, but I just thought it kind of gave a nice interesting look to that. And once again, there's pattern paper on the back. I do usually cover the back or do something to the back. Now, if you don't want to use any ink or any kind of messy type thing, you can always run your paper or your tag through a corrugator or a crimper. I have a Fiskars one, and it makes this nice washboard type thing. This is a tag that I painted with acrylic paint. It was in one of those Adirondack dabbers, but I just took the lid off and used my paintbrush and painted it, and once it was dry, then I ran it through my Cuttlebug with the Cassie's Brocade embossing folder. And then I waited, and then after that I sanded the top so that I would get the extra texture, and you can see the embossing a little bit better on this side. However, you know, the embossing by itself is always so cool to look at, so that's kind of fun. This is two different kinds, two different brands of washi tape. There's 3 washi tapes on here, and this one is from Studio Hambly, and I'm sorry I don't remember where the 2 purple ones came from. And this is washi tape is a lot of fun because you can just lay it out on, and whatever's underneath will still show up a little bit. So here's the tag, and here's a card I made with tissue tape, which is basically the same thing as the washi tape. This is the Tim Holtz tissue tape, and then I stamped on top of it with the Close to My Heart's black archival ink. So that's kind of a fun technique. Oh, and I was going to show you the, as far as the corrugating, you can also do it at a diagonal. I had it here, you know, straight up and down. This one is horizontal on the craft paper, but the ruby cardstock I did diagonally. Probably should have shown you the picture, or the card right side up, sorry. The next one was a fabric scrap that I had left over. It's a linen piece, and I just glued this down with the Bonding Memories glue, and then I stuck a piece of ribbon with the rosettes on it at the top. You can't see the hole for the tag, and I didn't want to cut through the rosettes, so I'll probably sew through to make, if I decide to put some trim on there to hang the tag, because this would make a really nice gift tag, or you can turn it into like a gift tag / ornament or whatever. But if I do decide to do that, I will do the sewing part with the twine or whatever I put through there, pearl cotton, and then I'll put on the back side so that I can see where that hole is. This is ribbon, but it's burlap. You could use any kind of ribbon. It's this is from Close to My Heart, and there's 2 pieces here. It's a fairly wide thickness, and then I just ran some raffia through there. This one is a really fun and easy one to do. You just take tissue paper. This happens to be from Michael's. They have a variety pack or whatever, and I like the metallic of the gold. You just crinkle it up, and then uncrinkle it, but don't smooth it out and don't iron it out or anything, and then put your adhesive down and then lay this on top, and I believe I used the Bonding Memories probably on this one as well, and then you just sort of smash it out, and it's got this really nice texture to it. You can do collage. This would be, once again, these are all background, so I'll be putting, you know, a focal point on here, but collage can be made with cardstock. I have some of the washi tape on here. This is a piece of canvas fabric that was run through my printer, a piece from a book, and then I put ink all over the whole thing to sort of even out the tones of it. And then, you know, when I put the focal point on there, that'll be it'll be kind of an interesting thing to see as a background. And then this one is modeling paste. It's from Liquitex. It's white when you use it, and you can use that with stencils, which is how I usually use it. But on this one, I just laid it out flat, and then I took a fork and ran it through to make the grooves, which is kind of a, you know, it's a really fun thing to see, and also it really is a neat texture. And then I mixed up some golden paints together to make this very, very dark purple color. It probably looks black on the video, but it is purple. And then the last one I wanted to show you is using, if you have tags that you wanted to do, is using photographs and then just cutting them to size for your tag. On this one, I took it into Photoshop and I did all of my text on the actual photograph before I printed it. And I printed it on presentation paper. I have an HP printer, and so I just use their paper. I know they play nicely together. And then, so that shows up right on there, and I like the way that that looks. But you can also do the same sort of thing where you print up the photograph, and I wanted this to look sort of like a postcard, so I skewed it when I cut it, and then I put stickers on top, and then I just wrote on there. And this is, you know, it's just a regular inkjet printer, but I think that it still looks pretty cool. So those are some techniques, and if you have any questions about any of them or anything else, please visit my blog or leave me a comment here. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.